The State of Real Estate with your host, Jerry Lantain.
Welcome to today's episode, and I am indeed your host, Jerry Lantain. Today we're going to talk about buying new homes, like buying a newly built home. It's a huge topic. It's way bigger than this one episode can do, and I am going to probably miss a lot of important things that we need to talk about. It's just going to be a little discussion about it. And so that's what our episode's going to be about today. And we'll see how we get through it. And we'll more than likely have to reapproach this topic a number of times in the years and months to come. First, we're going to get to the market report. So we'll be back with that in a second. Okay, and here is the market report. It is brought to you by the Lakeland Association of Realtors. First of all, regarding the market, we have been in a seller's market for a very long time. Sellers have had the upper hand on buyers. There just has not been enough inventory for sale. There was an influx in the Muskokas of money coming from the GTA and other areas because homes were being sold down in those areas for huge amount of prices, which kind of made a big push up here for people to want to move north and start buying homes here. And when they did, there wasn't enough inventory. They were willing to pay even more for homes, and so prices went up. Things went crazy over the last couple of years. There are signs in the past couple of weeks that that is actually beginning to change a little bit. Now, my stats we're going to run right here. We're going to compare basically March and April of this year, just to sort of show where things are going. So last March, there were 332 new listings in the Muskokas in our board. This year, our April, the month later, there are 449 new listings. So the listings have increased. Now, if you want to compare that to February of this year, there were only 203 new listings up for grabs. So this is more than double since February, which means there are much more homes on the market now, and meaning buyers have a little chance of getting a bit more of a break. The inventory of homes for sale. In March of this year, there were 251 homes for sale. In April of this year, in the Muskokas, there are 409 homes for sale. Again, that's giving a little more breath. Still, it's not a huge number. And then as far as actual sales go, in March of this year, there were 248 homes sold in our board. In April, there were 247. So a little less, I mean, by one, but still. Now, compare that to April 21. There were 395 homes sold in April. So that's about 50 more. No, more than that. Oh, boy, almost 150 more homes sold last year than this year. Days on the market, that seems to have stayed pretty much the same. Even since last April. March, there were 8 days to take a home on average. This April, there's 8 days. Last April, there were 9 days on average to take a home, to sell a home. Now, the stats for May are not in, but I can tell you from my own experience that the phones have slowed down a little bit in my office, and it seems that things are beginning to swing towards a buyer's market. It hasn't like swung full speed and full course, but there is a bit of a break for buyers coming up. And it could be a good time to buy if you're still in the market. So anyway, that's the market report.
The State of Real Estate with your host, Jerry Lantain.
Welcome back to the show. And today my guest is Krissa Ashworth. And she is a student from Toronto area. No, from London. Is that right?
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. And we're just going to have a little discussion about how to buy a new home, a newly built home. And Chris is just going to ask me some questions. And I'm going to answer them as best I can. Like I said earlier, this is a loaded topic. So there's tons of different types of answers. And this episode could go on for hours and hours, but we only have 20 minutes to get her done. Krissa, how are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you I really appreciate you being here for me. It's always great to have a guest on the show. Sometimes I do it by myself and it's like, blah, 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 blah. Have you ever tried to buy a home yourself?
No, but I know the housing market is competitive right now. If I'm buying a new home, how would I go about choosing the right builder?
Well, there's a ton of different ways. And, you know, you can go to, you want to find out about the quality because not all builders are created equally. And in fact, some are better than others because of the quality and their workmanship. And unfortunately, there have been builders that take advantage of people and do wrong by people. So you really need to research the builders, going online, looking at their reputations, trying to get references, and even approaching like the Better Business Bureau. That's a really good way to find out. Again, one of the better ways is family and friends. If you've known anyone who's ever built a home or had a home built, and if they've had a good job, then you can work with that person and sort of get a reference from them and then do again. Always do your research because things change over time. Now, one of the best guarantees is to make sure that your builder is Tarion registered.
Okay. What is a Tarion registered?
Well, a Tarion registered builder is like the best guarantee you can get in Ontario if you're buying a home that's going to be built by a builder. Like I said earlier, where some builders have good reputations, bad reputations, and extremely terrible, almost criminal reputations. And knowing the difference is hard to find out. If your builder is Tarion warranted, it's guaranteed by the government. So if something went wrong and your builder went bankrupt or was shyster and tried to steal money from you, your money's protected and you'll always get your guarantee of your money and product. So I'm just going to read to you, though. This is right off of their website. It says who we are. Tarion is a non-for-profit consumer protection organization established by the Ontario government to administer the province's new home warranty program. For over 40 years, Tarion has served new home builders or buyers and new homeowners by ensuring that one of their biggest life's investments is protected. Now, what they do is, by law, all new homes in Ontario are provided with a warranty by the builder. Like I said, it could be any other builder at all. But Tarion's role is to ensure that the buyers of newly built homes in Ontario receive the coverage they're entitled to under their builder's warranty. And Tarion's responsibilities include protecting consumers when builders fail to fulfill their warranty obligations, educating new home buyers and new homeowners about their warranties and their rights and responsibilities, administering a My Home online portal. That's when I'll explain, which allows homeowners to manage their warranty and report defects to the builder and Tarion. So if you got a Tarion registration, your builder's registered, he gives you his number, and your home will have a number. You go in, you register, and all of a sudden you have your own little portal. And now you're communicating directly with Tarion.
I see.
Exactly. So if something goes wrong, you're not reporting to your builder that you're upset with him. You're reporting to Tarion.
I see.
You can report to your builder, and all of a sudden, I mean, he's like gonna, depending on the integrity, right? There's your golden ticket for getting maximum responsibility out of your builders. And then they facilitate the resolution of disputes between the homeowners and the builders over warranty, repairs, and customer service. They assess claims, and if they're valid, through on-site inspections or alternative methods of investigation. And in cases where a builder fails to address a valid warranty, they resolve the claim directly with the homeowner through compensation or by repairs to a third party. And managing a guarantee fund to protect new home buyers, out of which compensation of warranty claims is paid. So basically, if you are working with someone who isn't Tarion warranty, you don't have those same kind of safety protections. All you have is that person's word, and the court should you need to go there. These guys back you up a lot, and it's a pretty incredible thing. For instance, when you buy a new home, and it's not built yet, they have to give you a realistic occupancy date. So, well, it's going to take us a year. So let's say June next year, June 2023, we're going to have your home built. But they have to give you an outside occupancy date, meaning if things really take us a long, long time, we got set, so it's usually a year. It can't be any longer than a year past that date. If they're going to miss their first occupancy date, they have to warn you within 90 days of missing that date. If they don't, they get penalized a large sum, like I think it's about $7,500. It's my understanding it goes directly back to the consumer. So that's the kind of power and protection you got. Because sometimes you're working with a builder, and I know through my experience as a house painter over the years in my previous profession, the builder tells oh yeah, we can get you in by June. Well, he has no intention of, because he knows he can't. But that's what he promises, so he gets the job, and things move on.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much time we've covered in our first little half of the episode, but I think we need to take a little break now and head off to commercial.
The State of Real Estate with your host, Jerry Lantain.
We are back from our commercial break, and we are with Chris Ashworth. Chris, what do you study?
I study medical sciences.
Awesome. Wow. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I hope you have a great future in it. We're going to get back to talking about the new homes, because you're probably going to have to buy a new home down wherever you get your job one day. So, I guess, have you any questions about building a new home? Anything you might want to ask me? Yeah.
Well, how do you get started?
Perfect question. The process of buying a new home is actually quite interesting and quite complicated. So let's pretend that we're going to look at buying a new condominium or subdivision that hasn't even been built yet. It's going to be 1 or 2 years away from being built. Now, the first thing we need to have you do is see something, right? We need to show you something. So one of the ways we do that is either through model homes or showrooms, or creating like online websites. What's more comfortable to you? I mean, would you rather look at a website and get a sense of the finishes and the space that's going to be there, or a physical product?
I think a little bit of both would be
Mhm.
great. I'm a very visual person, so seeing
Mhm.
photos or seeing something in person would be great.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how we kind of have to start. So we have to start with pictures, artist renderings, 3D model presentations, that kind of stuff. Something to give you an idea what it looks like. But there comes a point in time, and I'm one of these people. I need to see it. I need to look at it. I need to walk around it. I need tactile,
Yes.
because I can't imagine it. And there's a lot of people like that. So we have to build a showroom or a model home. If a model home can be built, it's so much better than just a showroom, because a showroom sort of shows what a living room might look like, you know? And so, take it from there. Now, if you were interested in buying the new home, we'd have to talk about the preliminary stages before we come up with the final price.
So once I've decided on where I want to live, where do we go from there?
Well, we can't just give you a straightforward contract yet, because we got to iron out the little details about your house. Are you going to have regular doorknobs, or are they going to be like pure gold or diamond? The first thing we need to do is create what we call a holding contract. And the holding contract is just you saying, you know what, I want to reserve that corner lot on Joe Street because I like that corner lot. That's just going to, and all builders have a different holding deposit. Now, that holding deposit is 100% refundable at all times during its existence until we give a real signed contract. So if it takes us a couple of months to get back to you, now we're supposed to do it much quicker. If we're selling you a new home, we're supposed to be able to get a new contract to you. I think there's a certain amount of time, we need to get that contract to you, not like have you wait for 6-10 months or something. But we get you this holding contract, and we establish a value of a deposit, say 5,000 or 10,000. It's not going to be a huge deposit to lock you in. It's just something that says I've reserved that spot there.
Okay.
So now in the meantime, we're going to ask you to come by our showroom and model home as often as you can and as soon as possible, or go to our website and look at all our finishes as soon as possible, and really iron out the choices you want to make
Yeah.
and get them done. So once you have that done, we get together again and we make a list and we check off. You want a full kitchen, you want all the different appliances, you want a marble countertop, you want hardwood floors. We check all the little, your wish list right off.
Beautiful.
And then we come back to you and we have to work out what the real price is going to be, because now we know what you want. the builder's going to go and price it out. So our base price, say, was $340,000 for your little home or apartment we were going to buy. Well, now because we've added all these extras in, it's now $525,000. Now you didn't know that, and you couldn't have known that. So now we make up the real contract, and it's big because it's a new home build, especially if it's a condominium. It's a massive document. And but what we do is we'll come up to you before we get the document ready and say, Krista, this is what it's going to cost you. And we'll give you a list of everything and say, this is what we agreed to. You check off, yeah, that's what I agreed to. This is the floor plan I want, check it off. This is the site plan in the neighborhood, and that's the home I want, or the one in the condominium. And these are all the things extra that I asked for. Check, 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 check. And we'll say, okay, Krista, that's going to cost you $540,000. And you say, well, you know what? Okay, I can do that. Now, we have to get you a contract. And like I said, that contract's massive, and it's really a lot of stuff in it. There's going to be the Tarion warranty if you have a Tarion builder. There's going to be the agreement of purchase and sale, which is the actual contract for the price. If it's a condominium, there's going to be condominium documents, which can be many, many pages. And then there's a few other pages at the end and some other things to sign. When we give you that contract, you didn't know the price was going to be $540,000. You have a holding deposit.
Okay.
You can say right here, right now, sorry guys, I only had a budget of 440. I can't afford it. Can I have my holding deposit back? And we say, oh, darn, Chris, it's going to be, it's going to be a bummer you're not joining our project, but we wish you the best. No hard feelings. We give you this contract, and you don't ask for your holding deposit back right away. You say, you know what, I think I can deal with this price. Well, now you and your lawyer will have 10 full days. This is a legal thing when you're buying a condominium and even timeshares, is that you have what's called a 10-day cooling off period. So even though we've signed the contract already, it's signed, you're obligated to us. There's a 10-day cooling off period where you can sit back and go, oh no, I think I've made a mistake. You talked it over with your family members and your spouse or whatever, and oh no. Well, you have 10 full days to say, you know what? I'm sorry. I want my whole deposit back. Now, because when you sign that contract, the first one, I forgot to mention this, we're going to ask you for a real deposit. It's a committed of say 20, 25,000 or more, even more sometimes.
Okay.
And you've paid that to us now. And now you're like, oh man, I want out. Well, that's what that 10-day cooling period is for. Or your lawyer may be looking through the condominium documents, and he may look through this and go, you know what? I am not comfortable with this condominium project. I don't like anything about it. I don't think you should buy this. And he might recommend you not buy that. In that 10-day cooling period, you get all your money back. You don't have to worry about anything. So that's again another safety valve for you, is that if you did get cold feet, you can always get out. Now, 90% of the people usually go through with the project because they've done their research. So again, it's about doing your research before you get in. You don't want to get to this stage and start looking at who your builder is.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
So at some point during the project, I'm going to want to see it. Am I allowed to check in partway through build?
That's a very good question. And thank you for asking it, because yes, I say yes, I'm a salesman. Of course, I'm going to want you to come in and see the build. Some builders, have policies that they do not. You certainly can't just show up any old day of the week.
Yeah.
For a number of reasons. One is safety. There's a lot of equipment being done. There's a lot of, and you can't just say willy-nilly, that's my home, I'm going into it, because it's not your home, not till it's finished. And there could be dangers in there that we're not aware of, such as open staircases and those kind of things. So, but you do have a right to go see it, and see how it's coming along. So depending on the builder, you should be allowed to go in upon request. A lot of builders will not give you that. What they will do, though, is say on a certain day, on this month, at this time, we will be letting people come in and have a look. So make arrangements with your sales representative.
So when is that time that I can walk through the home and look for those smaller details before the home is finished?
Another very good question. That is saved for what is called the pre-delivery inspection. again, that's going to be part of the whole, if it's a Tarion build, it's going to be part of the whole Tarion process. And there will be a form, and you will actually be able to go into the Tarion home portal and ask that question to Tarion, and they'll ask the builder, get you an answer, and they'll have a sheet that you can look at. It's a defect sheet, and it's quite detailed, and we go through the whole thing. So again, your sales representative should show up with you at that point in time, and the builder or a builder's representative, and you can walk through that house and be as detailed as you want.
Great.
You know, there are certain points where the builder's going to say, okay, now you're just picking feathers. Such as, oh, there's a little scratch in the drywall and it's being painted over. It's not a scratch, but like the drywall might not have been sanded perfectly in that spot. You can ask for it because it's your home, you know. Now that question of a door not closing right, or what happens if you go in there and they put the wrong countertop on? So there's a number of things that could be wrong or right in your home, and we'll go through that list by list by list by list, and then we hand that in for to the builder, and they have to fix those defects. Usually there should be enough time before closing for that to happen.
Okay.
Because it's really important that everything's in place before closing. Now, I'm not positive of this, and on a later episode, I can try and verify that if something like that was too close to, like say the countertop was, and you have to take the backsplash off and the countertop now, but we close in a week, and the countertop's not going to be ready for another month.
That's short notice.
Yeah, so there are arrangements that can be made for temporary things to stay in place, so the home can close as completed.
Okay.
With an agreement through yourself and the builder in Tarion, or yourself and the builder, that these things will be addressed in what's called the PDI, the pre-delivery inspection.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of think that's about it. I mean, again, there's a billion other questions we can go for, or just parts of this topic we can keep going on. So, Krista, thank you very, very much for doing the episode with me. I really appreciate it, and thank you for your questions.
Thank you so much for answering all my questions.
Okay, well, you take care, and I wish you the best in your educational career and your home buying career.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to be right back with the tip of the week. Okay, the tip of the week this week is quite simple. If you're going to buy a newly built home, make sure your builder is Tarion registered. That's the tip of the week, and that's the state of real estate.
The State of Real Estate with your host, Jerry Lantain.